All right, took it for its first drive on the on the beautiful new rear end. Also, we came in, actually you'll be able to see it, and I welded these tabs in. This one I ground down and did a weld, so we don't have the stupid straps on here. And then this one I honestly just welded. I didn't grind it down at all. I just tagged it straight with a welder, and it's holding great. And then of course I touched up the paint because I'd spidered it before. Now it looks really good, both sides nice and shiny. This conversion obviously looks really beautiful. Still don't have the emergency brake lines on yet. We'll be doing that here. We'll also be extending the exhaust so there's not spitting exhaust fumes, and coating my nice beautiful new axle and everything else to go with it. So we're going to extend those back, you know, whatever, 3-4 feet, whatever it needs to be, so it's spitting down back more in here. So we'll be doing that. But after the drive with the new disc brakes, and this happened on the Tahoe as well, now they are definitely spongy, whereas before I could skid my brakes pretty easily. Now they're spongier. They take more volume, right? They're spongier, so we need to remedy that because we need good brakes, especially with big tires and when we have more horsepower. So realistically, when you do a rear disc conversion, what you really are going to need to do if you're running vacuum brakes of any kind is convert to the Hydroboost, because we even have an upgraded vacuum. We have the double baffle, which gives you a little bit more power and pressure, and of course the upgraded Willwood. But it's now it's nice and squishy in the back, and I've bled out all the air and everything. You know, this is the exact same thing that happened on the Tahoe. We had vacuum, we switched the rear disc, and it wasn't until I put Hydroboost on and then I was just able to skid the tires. Piece of cake. So we're gonna need to do that. I don't remember what bore size I got on this, but I'll show you what I mean there in a minute. I want the biggest bore size possible. I may have to get another master cylinder, but in the meantime, we did get Hydroboost brakes. And now this is going to consist of two different things. I'm upgrading my power steering pump because I'm going to replace it anyway, just to know that everything's new and working great, because you know these require more pressure. So you're going to want to make sure all your components are good. And so this is a Tough Stuff power steering pump. It does have the return line, so I don't have to do like they do give you in this kit from the Right Stuff. This is the Right Stuff brake kit, and I'll tell you why I got that here in a minute. But they do give you a T in here so that you can tee your return line into your other return line off your power steering if you don't have the third, you know, port for the Hydroboost return. Since I was replacing the whole unit anyway, I just got one with the return, so we'll just have a nice clean setup, no T needed. And then it comes with this nice, you know, polished cap. And this is rated higher on output pressure and capabilities than just your standard power steering pump. That's why it was $300. But I'll leave a link below. I'm not sponsored by them or nothing like that. I did get it through Speedway Motors. This one specifically, I think you can get them elsewhere, but they're some of the best. And that's why I wanted to get it, just to remove that possibility of failure. Just get it done now and help simplify putting on the Hydroboost. So the Hydroboost, obviously, like I said earlier, this is from the Right Stuff. I can include that link below as well. I saw a bunch of people that had used these for upgrading your square body brakes to Hydroboost, and they come with, you know, it comes with everything, which is really nice. You know, a couple of nice braided lines here, and then here's your return line, which is just, you know, standard rubber, but it's got nice fittings on the ends. Comes with all the fittings you need, all the pieces you need. Depending on what your pedal is, you know, different pedal adjustments and stuff. Even has, you know, an extension if you need it, depending on what brake system you're upgrading from. So that's pretty cool. and you know, the firewall bolts and everything here, all the instructions, you know, walk you through everything if you're not sure. So, and why I went this route instead of, you know, we could go to, if you wanted to do this super cheap, you can go to the junkyard, you can just go to an old military rig. There are dealers out there that part out military rigs. You can get a Hydroboost unit from one of those, you know, for $100, whatever it is, and put that in. Make sure, you know, you have your right bracket that matches whatever vehicle you're putting it in. That's always important. And you could go get one of those for $100. Probably even has the master cylinder on it. You could not upgrade your power steering pump. You can make the old one work, and you can get this thing done for $100 in your time into it. I've gotten used power hydro boost systems before, and sometimes they have bad parts on them or leaky, you know, there's I forget what the seal is on it, but the one I got last time, even though it was $150 and it was used and had everything, had a leaky seal that I ended up selling my Tahoe to, and apparently it had leaking issues and you had to replace it. So why deal with any and all of that when I can just, you know, buy new? And that's what I wanted. I just want to take the headache out of everything and just do everything new, so there's no questions. That's what we're doing here. Now, obviously with the Hydroboost, it gives me a bigger bore option on the end. So you can see we've got a nice big bore insert in here. And what I mean by that is I've actually got a unit up here. It's an old unit. Let me take the tape off so you can see it. Bore size. This is your actual bore size here. And on the older vehicles, this is smaller. So it's displacing, you know, less fluid. Now, and that's because the size that this would fit into was smaller on older vehicles and stuff. But now when you switch to like a Hydroboost unit, it's larger because you're typically moving more fluid. And so you can upgrade, you know, all newer vehicles, or at least, you know, like newer trucks and stuff, they all have a bigger bore size here. So they're moving more fluid. So I am not sure on my Willwood if I have the smaller bore or the bigger bore on this unit here, because you can get both. Ow! I don't remember what this one has, if it's a big bore or a small bore. And you can custom order these to get whatever you want, whatever, you know, options and sizes for your brake lines and all of that. So I don't remember what this is. So I'm eventually here gonna pop this off today, pull it back, see what bore size it is, and if it's the wrong one, well, I'm gonna order another Willwood setup that has the bigger bore size. So when I'm shooting to my next video, I'll show everything completed here. But just wanted to talk about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, because the brakes are soft and they're actually worse than, you know, when they just have the drums. But that's because everything was set up for a drum and set up to work effectively with that. We've changed that. Now we have different fluid requirements and we need to meet those. So, plus, I do believe this motor has a little bit of a cam in it. So the vacuum is just, you know, when you put cams in, you're going to get a little bit less vacuum for the most part. So we have to compensate for all of that. So, yep, that's where we're at. And that's what we're doing. And on my next video, I will have it all in here. I may even have the exhaust done by then too, because it's getting done here in a week. So we'll see how long this takes me. It shouldn't take more than, you know, maybe 4 hours, but we'll see. All right, that's my update. Thanks.